Welcome back to the shop, guys. Today we're going to do a little science, and I'm going to intentionally trigger the active handling system, the traction control system, and the anti-lock brake system, all in the name of science. And I've actually got a couple of legitimate reasons for doing so as well. So stick around and see what happens next.
Toys for Life.
First, I'm going to attempt to trigger the C5's traction control system by attempting to do a massive burnout. Well, maybe not such a massive burnout, but anyway, we'll do the burnout while accidentally leaving the active handling system on. Leaving active handling engaged should kick in as soon as the tires start to spin. The computer system should recognize this and override the driver, in this case my foot being pushed to the floor, by closing the throttle body even though my foot's going to remain to the floor, and also decreasing timing advance. It does both of those things to reduce power as much as needed to stop the tires from spinning. Now, of course, I should absolutely be able to feel the car's computer taking these actions, but I'm also going to scan with HP tuners the entire run so that after it's done, we can take a look at the accelerator pedal position sensor, the throttle position sensor, and the ignition timing advance, so we can look at the instant replay and see exactly what actions the car's computer took. Now, let's get out there and conduct our first science experiment of the day. Well, that didn't go as planned. I felt zero intervention other than the rev limiter. Let's take a peek at this from the outside. And then let's just do one more burnout here to get some more data. Okay guys, here's the scan. This red line up here is the RPM, and you can see we bounced off the rev limiter there at about 6,500, and then one more time it anticipated it this time at 6,300-ish. And when that happened, when it bounces off the rev limiter, you can see the green line is the throttle position in the throttle body. The white line is the accelerator pedal. So from this point forward, I kept it all the way to the floor, and the car's computer intervenes and it cuts the throttle body to like 35% while my foot is still 100% to the floor. So that's interesting. You can see here by these two lines, the red is the injector duty cycle, and this pinkish line is the millivolts from the narrowband oxygen sensor. Not very accurate, but you can totally see that it cuts fuel at the same time. And then also, when we bounce off the rev limiter the first time, the spark advance is cut from 17 degrees, and it goes 17 degrees all the way to basically zero advance, so it cuts power there. The thing is, I think all of these actions were taken because of the fact that it bounces off my rev limiter. My guess is the traction control system, unless I inadvertently somehow deactivated it in all the tuning that we've done, I think it just doesn't know. It's set up to deal with stock horsepower levels, and so this happens so fast, I don't think the traction control system intervenes at all. I don't think it knows what to do. Luckily, though, we did the same test to Ben's C6, which is naturally aspirated, and I'll show you his tune here in just a second. All right, here's Ben's C6 Z06. To be fair, we did this when it was warmer out, it was dry, there was a lot more traction, so it was harder to get a good burnout going. Anyway, the blue line here is the speed. So as he dumps the clutch and the throttle, just as it starts to break loose, you can see it goes from 6 miles an hour to like 25. That's when we're spinning. And here's the throttle position sensor in green and the accelerator pedal in white. You can see Ben continues to hit the throttle on the Gen 4s, which is what the C6 is. 88% is wide open. So even though he's given it more and more gas, this here we can clearly see, because we're at lower RPMs. We're only at like 2,300 with all that LS7 torque. Even though he's giving it more throttle, the computer with traction control on is saying, no way, Jose, and it's giving it less and less and less, all the way down. It's only at like 48% throttle. So clearly we've got a strong intervention there for timing advance just as it kicks in here again when we started the burnout. The computer does seem to wake up and it goes from 27 and boom, it drops it down by what is that, like 20 degrees almost? So it does intervene, naturally aspirated. This is pretty much the stock traction control system setup here. And you can see it nicely intervenes as we predicted. So this is accurate. So luckily we have this scan to kind of show you what's going on here behind the scenes. And again, the computer does a nice job of just keeping the tires spinning without it getting any worse. And here's where it finally hooks up 18 miles an hour, and then it lets it take off again until he starts letting off the throttle. Well, guys, unfortunately, over the past few days, Mother Nature has delivered some rain and storms, and that's interfered with my ability to finish this three-pronged C5 Corvette science project. So I'm going to have to work on triggering the anti-lock brakes and the active handling over this next week, and we'll come out with part 2 of this video in the very near future. So make sure you subscribe and click that little bell so you get a notification when that video comes out. Now, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up. That way YouTube knows to share this video with the rest of the C5 Corvette community. And most importantly, thanks for watching.